Okay, so this is podcast 5 now.
5, doing well.
But we're doing what people do. So in telly, this is what we're doing. In telly, in order to save money, sometimes you record 2 shows in a day.
Yeah, and then pretend it's...
And then you have that thing where one of the guests makes a mistake, and then somebody goes, "Oh, can you say it's on Friday rather than tomorrow?"
Or if some world event happens over the next 2 days. Yeah. Sorry, we've not covered it. It's like something we've had a UFO landing on Monday. Bank holiday Monday, we had UFOs come to Hull. But we recorded it on Sunday, so if you're thinking about coming, can you do it after the weekend so we get this on a podcast?
Because we pride ourselves in our topicality.
Yes, we do. It's a very topical show. Ricky Gervais, he's topical. We're topical.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to keep in touch with Gervais.
The powerful man.
He's a very powerful man. He's a powerful man. So yeah, so we're still so we've recorded this one at the same time as we recorded the special, which hopefully people have heard, but we're still in the Hotel Divan in Birmingham. We haven't been booted out yet, which is good.
I've got to go off soon because I've got to catch the bus back to Old Trafford.
I've sorted a late checkout, actually.
Oh, well done, Clyde. That cost you a little bit extra?
No, they did it for free.
Nice.
And, So, but yeah, a thing I forgot to mention on the last podcast is about the area that we were sitting for the T20 final.
Yeah.
Was a Lancashire
area. It's a fan visit, friends, I think.
Well, I've only just found that out now from you. So I think somebody thought I had specific contact with a member of the Lancashire team, because just bear in mind I was with my wife Rachel. we sat down and the woman next to me went, "Are you Paul's dad?" And then Rachel turned to me and went, "Is there anything you want to tell me?"
Well, Paul is the 32-year-old captain.
Oh my God!
Of Lancashire.
You're joking.
His dad is 80. So,
oh God!
It could be possible time to get rid of the beard,
oh,
or put some Just for Men in it. You could do a Figo and get some Just for Men on the bar.
I am gonna have to trim.
You have to do something.
I've been growing this because I actually went to a proper barber. I got for my birthday. I got like a proper beard trim bought for me, and so I had to grow it in order to get my money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't just go with like a bit of stubble, but it's getting too big now. So
I think it's nice. But the problem is you've got really hairy cheeks.
Yeah.
It's like it stops just under your eyes. I don't know if they're your what do you call them things? Eyelashes underneath them, under eyelashes.
Under eyelashes.
Or it's your beard.
Yeah.
I think you've just took them down a bit.
I'm essentially a Mexican wolf boy. I went to a fancy dress. It was like a New Year's fancy dress party, but it was a masked ball. So we had one of those masks on. It was just my face was then completely black. It was a black mask and then a big beard. It just looked ridiculous. So, but she was lovely. I really liked the lady that thought I was one of the players' moms. And we talked about that last time. We talked about it in the last podcast. So the other things I want to talk about is but we're coming sort of to the end of the summer now with the summer of cricket, and there's a few games that I've been to since we last did a proper official podcast that I want to talk to you about.
An official one?
Well, the last one was official, but it was a special.
Yeah.
Because obviously,
when people say special, who's it special for? Is it a treat?
I think it's special for the publicists, because I just need to try and sort of flog it and make it sound really good. And So
this is back to just the normal.
This is just run of the mill.
Yeah, we're not trying here. This isn't special. we're just talking. Not special. Nothing special about this at all.
I'll tell you one thing. A thing about when you watch some TV shows, specifically sitcoms, is if there's like 6 episodes, they'll run out of money at certain points. So I remember watching an episode of 2012, the thing about the Olympics, and they set the entire episode on a bus of them trying to get to the Olympic Park, and you could see, I bet they didn't have any money. They needed to keep some money back for the final, say three or 4. So we'll stick one on a bus, and we'll film it entirely on a bus.
Well, that's like League of Their Own, because we film 8 and they drag 10 or 11 out.
So where do the other 3 come from?
Well, they put the best bits. So you got two best bit shows, and you think, well, if these are the best bits, what's that rubbish we've been churning out for the past 8? And then they put unseen. The reason it's unseen because it's no good.
Yeah,
it's like they watch it and they think, it can't get in the show. We'll leave it for the unseen stuff.
Yeah. When you're in an edit, the stuff that you take out is unseen because it shouldn't normally be seen.
It shouldn't be seen by human eyes. It
should be kept unseen. But anyways, this is, I'm not going to call it a normal podcast. This is just a podcast about general things. But so England, Cook, everybody loves him again now.
Yeah, we called it on the last one.
Of course,
we called it. Of course they do.
Yeah,
it's Alistair Cook. He's a type of bloke who, if your daughter brought home, you'd high five the missus.
Yeah,
it's like he's amazing, and it was a matter of time.
Is that because you'll get free tickets to a test match?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And he lambs as well. He rears lambs.
He's got.
Get free chops.
He's got everything going for him.
He's perfect. But yeah, he was always good. As soon as he started scoring runs, then England would be fine.
He had some luck, I suppose, didn't he? That in the Oval.
You need it, don't you?
Yeah.
You need a little bit of luck. And he's scoring runs.
And he earns it, I think. I mean, if you can earn luck. But he'd had some bad luck and he'd had some bad times. And it was just good to see him scoring runs.
But it's a strange one, isn't it? Because he almost looks instantly as if the troubles of the world have somehow just fallen off his shoulders.
Yeah.
Because at one point he was struggling. And everyone was on his back. And I love the fact when ex-players and all these greats of England who won out all got on his back, and then all of a sudden when he starts doing well, they start having to backtrack a little bit, and you think, well, why don't you just go through with it?
Yeah.
Don't go halfway, go through with it. Don't be now all pally. So I'm really pleased for Cook, and I think the side they've played in the past 3 test matches is as good as England's sides I've seen. You know, the batting's strong. Walks, who I played against in the T20 finals, I think he's going to turn into a proper cricketer, all-rounder. Jordan, useful. And you got the old lads as well, Jimmy and Broad. So
Jordan's run-up's fascinating. It's very stop-start.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't decide whether he runs up like he's got a stone in his shoe or he's waving at someone in the crowd. It's like he puts his hand up and he's like waving, and then he's got his stone in his shoe which is impeding him running. So it's a really bizarre one, but I feel for him a little bit because he gets, well, I've just done it, but everyone gives him stick for his run-up.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact he had a stress fracture of his back not long ago.
Oh, really?
And he's probably worked so hard to get to that run-up.
Yeah.
And everyone's like saying, oh, he needs to improve his run-up. But he's probably worked his nuts off.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll iron it out over time.
Yeah.
But I don't think he should. He gets noticed.
Yeah, he also gets, he gets wickets, but... Yeah.
The thing off-putting as a batter, someone waving at you is coming, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the tape stuck. Oh, he's
buffering.
It's like watching him on YouTube. But the thing that I thought was I got a bit fed up of after we won the series was like, oh, this is the worst Indian team that's ever been.
It's like, brilliant the other week.
Yeah, and it's like, well, we still beat them. It's like it's not that easy to win a test match.
India weren't good. However, you got to give credit for England for not letting them be. You look at the batters, like they got Dhoni, they've got like Kohli, and they got a few others.
Yeah.
And in the bowling attack, only a couple of weeks ago, they were loading it up. I know it's typical England, isn't it? It's like if you do bad, we'll crucify you. And if you do well, we'll find an excuse.
Well, it's all that kind of like, oh, well, when the Australians turn up next year, it's not going to be the same. Well, we don't know, do we?
Yeah, it's almost as if people don't want them to do well.
Yeah.
There's people who've played and had careers which have been alright, and they want to protect what they've done by loading it up as the golden era cricket, or we played against the best sides, and in our day it was better. And it's almost protecting what they've done by not saying how well the current side are.
Yeah.
But you look at what India used to be like, they were dreadful.
Well, the thing that I can't get my head around with India is I've been a couple of times just on holiday, travelling around, pretty much all over India, and everywhere you look, there's cricket wickets.
Yeah.
And I went to Mumbai in 2006. I mean, you played over there in 2006, and we were on holiday in Mumbai. And there's a sort of area right in the middle of central Mumbai, and there was probably about 15 games going on.
I played on that.
Have you?
Just for the kids and things.
Yeah, right next.
Not my kids, and
with
the kids.
Everybody's
just go in there and you just join in.
Yeah, and everybody's
they're good.
Yeah, everybody's playing cricket, So how come that hasn't translated to?
I think what's happened in India is since the IPL started, I think focus has shifted too much to that. Where it should, for me, I sent a tweet out after the game, and I think it was misinterpreted because I think I might have destroyed my chances of getting an IPL gig. But it wasn't a pop at the IPL, just to make it straight. So Mumbai Indians or anybody, if you have to like a slightly overweight all-rounder who we're not sure what you're going to get out of, I'm your man. But it's your country should always come first. Your IPLs and your big bashes and all that are like a reward for a good international career. It's first, but I think in India, the goals have moved around a little bit.
It's an interesting. I've been to an IPL game when I was last in India. I went to Kolkata Knight Riders.
How often do you go to India? Is this like
I've been
just
twice
every other weekend? City breaks.
Yeah.
Right, so we're off to India again on Friday. I'm gonna be back on Monday though. Come Italy.
No, I've been twice, and we just fitted a lot in. Just fitted like the last time we went.
Why did you fit in?
we wanted to.
You walking through the streets anywhere in India that I've been to, whether it be Mumbai, Chennai, you don't fit in. You stand out, Clyde.
Do you know what? In Calcutta, we went to the Victoria Monument, and loads of people came up to me wanting a photograph with me, just wanting to get a picture with me.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite work out why.
Who do you think you were?
Jeff Capes.
Jeff Capes.
But I did. I've got a really old style England cricket baseball hat, the one that they brought out in like 2004, 2005.
Oh, amazing!
And it's that sort of. It looks like it could be a player's hat.
Right.
That's why I like wearing it. And I wore that a lot over there.
But the problem is, Clyde, they might see the hat, but if they just look down a little bit, they probably think, nah, maybe he's not a player.
No, maybe he's not. Maybe he's an administrator.
Oh, Nasser Hussain's let himself go, hasn't he?
Anyway, I've been to an IPL game, and it's weird because it's nothing like Indian society.
No.
So you've got like girls dancing with very little on. And that's the polar opposite to everywhere else in India.
Apparently they ship them in from America, them cheerleaders.
Do they?
They're American. No, I got the pom-poms wiggling and... Where'd you look? I was looking for the ball. Throw it back.
But it's obviously, it's massive there. But yeah, you're right. I'd rather the test side do.
Oh, every day of the week.
Do well.
And then the IPLs and that are a bonus, but, I think we'll find in a minute where you can earn that much money. That people just need to adjust. Yeah. What's important.
Yeah. But so anyway, we won that. We won the Test series, which was brilliant. But I went to the Oval. I bought tickets for the first 3 days, which ended up being.
You bought them?
Yeah.
Well done, Clive.
I bought tickets for the first 3 days, which ended up being the test. It lasted 3 days, so I went to the full test with different sets of people. First day, got there. The pigeon problem was ginormous.
There's a lot of pigeons at the Oval.
But I mean...
Did you need a scarecrow in the middle of the ground? Did you need like an extra fielder or another umpire?
You just get Bob Willis out there.
You stick Bob out there to scarecrow.
But it was a problem. I don't know if you saw it on the telly, but they'd have to, the bowler would be coming in and have to stop because a pigeon had flown in front. And, and then I was listening to TMS and they nicknamed one of the pigeons Jeffrey. Because it was on his own, it was aloof. It was aloof and it was argumentative.
It won't move.
Yeah, you couldn't get it out. It did nothing all day. But so that was on that was the Friday, and then on the Saturday I went with another group of mates. No pigeons. What had happened? What had happened? I was convinced that Richard Thompson, Tomo, because he's the chairman, had gone overnight with a shotgun and stood on the pavilion
just
taking
Who was the Manchester band who put wads of weed killer on bread?
Oh.
And then fed it to the pigeons.
Well,
it was in that film 24 Hour Party.
Stone Roses, no, Happy Mondays.
It might be Happy Mondays. And then there's this thing in the film where they put weed killer on bread.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was just raining pigeons.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating that, by the way.
No, I mean, I'm sure the pigeons are all fine. Nothing
no,
bad.
No pigeons were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Nothing bad happened to them, but there wasn't any the next day, and they'd been such a problem like the first day, but they weren't any. But it was brilliant because I through the 3 days saw the whole thing.
Yeah,
unfold.
did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was
the Oval is an amazing place.
Yeah.
To play and watch.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, but one thing I was keeping an eye on. This is always a problem for me when I go to major sporting events or even the cinema. Is going to the toilet. I always need to go to the toilet,
right?
All the time. So I have to be very careful with my liquid intake through the day.
Do you have to plan it?
Kind of keep on top of it. Yeah, I kind of. But also on all 3 occasions, I was sat middle row, and I don't want to be middle row because you've got to upset people.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and what I found on all 3 days is it's that look that you get rather than just like, all right, mate. There was a lot of the kind of I've got to stand up.
What's your option? All right, then don't let me through, and I'll just wee on you.
Yeah, which I would have done.
Yeah,
I easily would have done.
I'm going to wee on you, or you take a spare pint glass.
No, that would be great. I mean, in an ideal world, you could actually sit in your seat and connect yourself up to a tube.
It might be unhygienic.
Yeah, but imagine if you got your own tube, and then you wouldn't even. You could just watch. I mean, in the future, hopefully, if anybody's listening who's designing the next set of cricket grounds, just get your own.
An attachment. What about women? What are they going to do?
Yeah, but they can hold it in longer, can't they?
Is that a medical fact?
Yeah, they're a lot better. But it did make me think about because I watched a few of the players obviously go to the toilet, but they don't run back to their dressing room. They run to where the groundsmen are. Is that where the toilets are?
There, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's frowned upon now. That like back in the day, you could go off for anything.
Yeah.
You just umpire. I'm just nipping off for 5 minutes. They didn't even ask. Now you got to prove there's something wrong with you, or you've got to ask to go to the toilet. So, do you mind if I go to the toilet?
Do you have to ask the umpire?
You got to ask for permission.
Yeah.
So I've been at school. I remember when I was 9, I was playing a game, and I wet my pants on the ground.
No.
I was playing for Lancashire under-11s at Liverpool. I can remember it now. And I was feeling it slip. I was desperate for the toilet, but I didn't know you could go off for it. I thought, can you leave? I just wet my pants. Yeah. The keeper next to me was horrified. He didn't even trickle down my leg to the bottom. He just fell straight. He just fell straight down. And I was 9. I was traumatised. I still remember it. That's how he sticks out.
I did.
My mum said, "Your lights are yellow." Oh yeah, weed killer. It's what they put on grass.
I've done a couple of. I've done London Marathon twice, and the biggest problem for a lot of the runners, not the biggest, but one of the problems is needing to go to the toilet. So what happens is you all get to the start line, and everybody's taking in loads of liquids, and everybody's all like super pumped up. It takes 20 minutes from pretty much the start for you to cross over the line because there's like 36,000 runners. And what happens is they don't see this, you don't see this on telly. So everybody's like, oh, waving and stuff like that. The moment you turn a corner at the park that you're in, there's a ditch and everybody just goes weeing. There's girls whipping their pants down. It's really weird because they all need to go. But the best marathon I did was the one after the 2008 one where it was raining. So I was completely soaked. So you could just have a wee in your shorts.
Well, I went to this Arctic Monkeys concert at the cricket ground, Old Trafford, a few years ago, and I turned up. Look at who was in hospitality. But we've gone now. I've walked through the ground. I spend most days at, and there's just people weeing everywhere.
Really?
Women squatting, weeing behind bins, and we walked past one, and this voice came out. There's, oh no, he's turned into a number 2.
No.
Someone behind the bin. And then, right, and then we watch this.
That's disgusting.
Right, and then I'm watching this concert, and the ground is just a sea of people.
Did her boyfriend go for a low dive and slip catch?
Yeah, he just plucked it out before it hit the ground. But I was looking at it, I couldn't even concentrate on the music, because I was just looking at the ground which I play on and love. Thinking, have these people washed? What is going on that ground?
Well, also, we know the problem with that ground, because I was up there when it got rained
Drainage.
off. There's no drainage.
They're blocked. They're blocked with brown trout. So, but it was 2 days after, we had a game on the ground, and we turned up. I kid you not, the ground was just brown.
Was it?
And it smelt. It was the most disgusting thing. And we went out to field, and I says, look lads, I don't care. I'm not shining the ball. I could get dysentery off the ball here. This is how bad it was. You stood there. And you know when if you're in a car and someone farts?
Yeah.
And it's horrible. Well, it was like that for 6 hours fielding. It was the rankest thing ever. Didn't dive, didn't shine the ball, just wanted to get out of it. And it didn't recover for like 2 or 3 weeks. So them Arctic monkeys, get some toilets or something, or go and play at a venue. I did me in that.
Well, they were on when we got in from the cricket the last night. I know this is now going out in the future, but we're recording this the day after the 2020 final. Arctic Monkeys were on with their Reading performance, and he was effing and jeffing. He was effing and jeffing on BBC Three.
Was he?
Yeah,
no need for it.
There's no need.
You'd do that, would you?
Also, he looks like Eddie Munster.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got his hair's all flicked back there.
They're very popular, though, aren't they?
They're very popular, but very
popular.
but the old Trafford drainage brings me to the day that I went up there, which was the Friday when it was rained off in the afternoon, and I went up with a couple of mates, Bully and Grav. Really,
I saw the picture.
Really good mates. Grav enjoyed it more than perhaps we did. I think he was a bit more extravagant with the drinks, but it's the thing that from a kind of spectator's perspective, I've got a kind of sense of what happens when it's raining in a game. We all like what we do, and so I'd like to know. So I'll say what we do, and I'd like to know kind of how players deal with it. So this is what happened for us. You basically try and get loads of drinks in, then you try and find shelter, then you try and find games to play. Yeah. Men find games to play in the car park that are just like the weirdest games that look like they've been developing for years, like chucking pints into other pints. It was just like what, and then people cheering that. But what we tried to do is we got the girl that ran the ice cream van. She drove the ice cream van. We tried to convince her to drive us into Manchester to the Northern Quarter, because our theory was she won't sell any ice cream because it's raining.
Yeah,
and she was up for it, but we had to go and find her boss, who was a fat Italian man.
So I wasn't having it.
Wasn't having it.
Super Mario.
Yes, he wasn't having it. But we said, look, tell us what you think you'd sell on ice cream, like in the next hour, and then we'll pay more than that for you to drive us into, thinking that she wouldn't have really made any money. But that didn't work. So eventually we got a cab into town. But then you've got a thing where there's a lot of people from the cricket out and about drinking and stuff like that, and it was actually really good because it was almost like you just got talking to people that you wouldn't normally
chat to in the crowd.
Yeah, so we got talking to this one set of guys. 50 of them go to a test every year in fancy dress, and they were dressed in sort of Hawaiian shirts this time. But we met the guy who had to buy the 50 tickets. I was like so impressed.
He had to buy them.
He bought them
ahead of time or something.
No, he always does it. He always organises it.
Minted, is he?
No, I think he's just really good at keeping on top of getting the money off everybody.
Oh, you don't pay for him?
No, he. I think he just organises everybody giving him the money at the right time. But I was like in awe of him. I was like, it's hard enough getting 2 mates to come to a cricket match, let alone another 49 mates.
It's the worst thing when you leave tickets for someone, because you're meant to be like worrying about the game and you're meant to be preparing. And all you can think is, I hope Kai's got his tickets.
Yeah.
I hope mum and dad have got in all right.
Yeah.
And like, actually thinking about playing against Australia is the first thing from your mind. Thinking, I hope there's not a mix-up at the ticket office.
Yeah.
Because I've had that before.
I think it's like when I'm doing a TV show and I've got friends come in, and I'm more worried about them, and then I'm like looking to see if they've got to their seat and they're in the crowd and all that sort of stuff. So I know what you mean by that.
But when it rains, what do? We don't know. They play dressing room cricket. It's like
you play cricket in the dressing room.
So let's play dressing room in the cricket. It's like you're not getting enough of that out there. And then they get a stump on a tennis ball. And it's a 1-on-1 bounce rule. You can't play an attacking shot. You just defend it. And they've developed these like spinning balls. I can't pick them in proper cricket, so I don't play because I'm rubbish.
Yeah.
Some lads play cards, play a bit of poker. And PlayStations have popped in now.
Yeah, so you got PlayStation in the dressing room.
Well, so the lads take them everywhere now. I think it's really sad.
Yeah.
Adults, these games are for kids. Yeah, adults. I was chatting to one lad, Guy Log, lovely lad, and we brought him back from a wedding the other week, and his missus was telling me how he goes online and he's playing Call of Duty with other members of the team. There'd be 9 of them on at once saying, "He's behind that wall, shoot him." It's like, Carl, you're 31. What? This is wrong, so they do that.
But is it best to completely switch off from the game then? Is that the idea?
You try to, but it's hard. It's just occupying yourself. I reckon the amount of time I've spent in the dressing room when it's raining or doing nothing, if I'd have maximised my time, I could have a master's degree. I've done nothing. I've done things like the Red Bull Challenge. 10 cans of Red Bull just to see what it does. It's like me and Glenn Chappell one day when it was raining. We did a Tabasco challenge. It was like we got shot glasses of Tabasco and then we kept doing shots till one of us give up. It's like, we are very...
You're joking.
No.
Were you batting or bowling that day?
No, we were bowling. It was heavy rain, we didn't think we were going to get on. But then it was alright, but then the next day, it's like a dragon's nostril. it was dreadful. The Tabasco challenge. So we've done that. I try not to eat as well. Because now in the dressing room, there's always food about.
Is there?
Oh, it's just food everywhere.
Is it healthy stuff though?
Apparently, but I suppose if you eat enough of anything, it's not that healthy. And, you know, these lads with the new bodies and the abs,
yeah,
I got to be slightly careful. They can't just be grazing all day.
There was a documentary on, I think a BBC documentary on when Shane Warne was at Hampshire, and it was like cameras followed him for a year, and they showed him during a rain break. And basically, he was eating chips and smoking fags.
Yeah.
But that was all on camera.
But that's not what he does. That's what he does all the time. We're used to before he's Benjamin Button stage. Until he's changed himself.
But I was thinking about the one thing I was thinking about the other day, and it's relevant to him, is in Brighton where I live. There's a big statue that was unveiled a couple of years ago, Steve Ovett. You know, the runner Steve Ovett, and it's okay, but the shorts are too tight, and it's a bit revealing. So like,
it's Brighton.
Yeah, I suppose it has to be like that because it's Brighton. But I was thinking about the Shane Warne statue. I think it's probably Melbourne Cricket Club outside of there at the ground there, and it's sort of fat Shane Warne. And I bet he's thinking, I prefer if it was sort of now.
Oh yeah,
I prefer if it was like me now.
Can you just sand it down a bit? sand me forehead. Just chip a bit off my belly.
But the thing I wanted to ask you is, have you got a statue anywhere? I don't think you have. If you could have a statue, where would it be? And what stance or what would it be like? What would you be doing?
I did have a statue.
Did you?
It was a bizarre one. For my testimonial year, a friend of mine's father makes statues out of wood. They're more generic. I think they just called it me. It didn't really look like me. It was like just a wooden face. It didn't have any features. But it was playing a shot which I've never played in my life. But that's you. So, alright, that's me. So we sold it during my benefit year at an auction, calling it me. So we put one of my backs in his hands.
Ah, right.
So now we're starting to get there.
Yeah, and there it's all coming together.
So it sold for a few grand, so it was happy days. And then I was at a function about 4 years later at Stowe School for Darren Goff. Darren Goff, I think he gets his kids there for free or something. He does a couple of functions. So he said, "Fred, can you come and do this function?" I said, "Is it for charity?" He said, "Well, yeah. The cricket team want to go to South Africa." I said, "Darren, this is Stowe School. This is like one of the biggest schools in the world. You got billionaires' kids going there. Do you really need to run a function? Could you not use this money a little bit better around the world rather than sending rich, spoiled kids to South Africa to play cricket?" But I went, and then they had this auction, and I was looking. Here's that statue again. This statue's it's really ugly.
But had they told Darren Goff it was him this time?
Yeah, Goff it out. No, you see, but this thing's like 6 foot. It's big.
Yeah.
And it was in the auction, and once bitten, twice shy. Nobody was biting it. So I thought, I'll have this. I had a few. So I paid £150 to get it back. I came home that night, right? We went all out after. We went to a place just outside of Milton Keynes called the Pink Punter.
Right.
It was a gay club.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Goffy got to the door and I'm like, "Alright, Mr. Goff, nice to see you again." He got us in and had a great night. Took the statue with us. We were carrying this big wooden statue around with us. We just plonked it next to us. And at one point his back had gone, he was holding a pint and he had a cigarette in his mouth and everything. So there was a car which was booked to take me home, but I had to make a phone call to the company saying, I'm just worried that I'm not going to get my statue in the car. I was supposed to get a Chrysler Voyager to go home with a statue. And I got home about 5 in the morning. And I've no keys. And the missus doesn't trust me with keys when I go out. So I put the statue in the door. And I knocked and hid round the corner. And it kind of diffused the situation for coming in so late. But why has that come back? this wooden statue.
Was she talking to the statue?
Yeah. So that's the only statue. But if I was to have a proper one done, where would I like it? I don't know. I think...
Would you go for the stance, the arms outstretched stance?
No, I think they're overrated. I'd go for like a more self-conscious stance.
Hand on hip.
Yeah,
a wave.
Hand on hip, my hands in my pockets and my shoulders forward. Really? You really want this? And where would I put it? Well, a couple of years ago I said Morrison's, but now they got out on deck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think possibly in Duncan Fletcher's back garden. So every time he opens his curtains, he's got to have a look at me.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
That would be amazing. The other week at Old Trafford, I was practicing, and the Indian team were due to come to Old Trafford, and I was in mischievous mood. I thought, I'm going to meet them off the bus and shake their hands and ask Duncan Fletcher for a selfie. I thought that would be great, but they were late and I had to go home.
Oh, that would have been brilliant.
I thought it would be great for Twitter, a selfie with Duncan.
Talking about going back to cricket, off the statue, Moeen Ali, who has been brilliant, I think, he's come in and been brilliant, as a fellow beard wearer, isn't he? I mean, he's got...
Is he aspirational?
For me,
yeah.
I don't think I could go that long.
No.
And obviously he because of his religion, he's grown it and he's very proud of it. But I was thinking, if the ball hit it, if there was bouncer, chin music sort of stuff, and it caught the end of it, he could deviate the line of the ball, and that could be quite useful to have.
Just to flick it down. Man.
Just
he should starch it and put so much hairspray on it that it's solid, and it could be like a second bat. He could play forward defensive with his chin.
Like Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah.
But it's the thing I was thinking, because it's really long, because it sticks when he wears the helmet. It sticks like quite low below the helmet. I was thinking actually it could be quite useful, but I think you're right. I think if he did starch it, like really lacquer it properly, you could probably even get a piece of wood inside it without you even knowing.
It's like protection.
Yeah, but
a piece of wood. Just think what piece of wood in. What, a second bat under his beard. Get one of them autograph bats and weave it into his beard.
He's in the dressing room going, "Have you not got your own bat beard?" But
I think he's one of the coolest people I've ever seen play cricket.
Oh, I love him. He's brilliant when he's interviewed as well. He's amazing.
He just walks around and you look at him and anything he does just looks so cool.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, I think he's great. I'm gonna wrap up. Because I've got one more thing left to talk to you about. And it's a really big question. And I know you really can answer this question. When you win a giant cheque at the end of a game, what do you do with it? Can you use it? Can you cash one of those cheques?
No, you can't get it through that glass bit. Do you know that drawer where you pull out or move? You're trying to get it in. No, I won my first one in Pakistan. And a motorbike.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
Never saw it again. Never seen it since.
How would you get it back?
Well, you don't have to worry about that because it's only a photo opportunity, then it just disappears. So you never see it. Yeah. And the cheques, no, you can't cash them. I think they're just novelty. Oh. I've never tried. Imagine it's like lottery winners.
I would
going into Co-op Bank with a cheque for 10 million on this massive cheque. But no. The one thing I was proud of with the podcast is this number one spot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I have to think though that we got to number one on iTunes. I was thinking someone has pressed the wrong button.
Yeah.
Someone's made a mistake at iTunes. It should be number 212.
Yeah.
And you was texting saying we're at number 7. Yeah.
Well, it was sort of weird. It's like you sent me you tweeted about the The review, we got a good review.
In the Telegraph,
Yeah.
was
Well, you got a good.
I get hammered.
You got a good review. I mean, I was essentially like they passed me over.
But it was a bit backhanded as well, though, wasn't it? It was surprising. No, was it surprisingly? What were they expecting?
Yeah. Anyway, we got a good review, and then there was a bit of momentum.
Yeah, but they described it as also frank.
Yeah.
I don't know who Frank is.
No.
And then the other bit was unproduced.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be applauded. It's cheap. It's cheap. We can't afford a studio. It's not a case of, yeah, we really set out for this. I would love to be right now in a studio having a coffee, sat in a comfy chair instead of
you're sitting on the floor.
In Clyde's room.
The only reason you're sitting on the floor is because I'm sitting on the bed, and you probably feel
it would be a bit weird
if we were both sat on the bed.
Weird.
But
when it got to number one, it was one of them things where I've been in this position a couple of times on awards and got them and thought, nah, I'm out my comfort zone here. One of them was I got the Cosmopolitan Awards, and I got awarded Ultimate Man of the Year by Cosmopolitan.
Ultimate Man.
I'm not quite sure what Ultimate Man entails. I think it's if you're prepared to go, you get the award. So Kate, who manages us, she's trying to get me to these things each year.
Yeah.
But I always say, it's not my cup of tea, that. So she's got me to go. And I've turned up to this room where even Redknapp, he'd be like a 4 out of 10. It's like beautiful people.
Right.
And I've gone up for this award. And as I've gone up for it, I felt more and more out of place and self-conscious. And I've got to make a speech. And I can feel every roll of fat over my trousers. And I'm just looking over. I've got this skinhead, my suit's ill-fitting, and I've got my tie a bit loose. I'm just looking at a sea of beautiful people. I think I'm Ultimate Man of the Year. And all I could say was, I bet there's some really disappointed blokes out there because this has won Ultimate Man of the Year. I don't even have moisturiser. And then that was one of them. And this with the podcast is like, Gervais.
Yeah.
Gervais.
I think it might be because it's in the wrong
category.
There's no video element to our audio podcast.
What other category could you put it in that has a chance to get into number one?
Self-help.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there, guys.
But it's great, and it was brilliant to find out. But anyway, yeah. So that's the end of podcast. This is number.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to go now.
Podcast. You got to get the bus.
Get the team bus. Over.
You got to get the bus. Podcast number 5. So it's over to you for your normal wrap up.
Yeah, if anybody would like to sponsor our podcast, get in touch at Clyde Holcroft on Twitter or at Flintoff 11.
Thanks very much.
It'd be worth it.